Great morning, great morning, great morning. I'm Amanda Sapp here at Amazing 102.5 FM, your do good, through good station, where we're changing lives one listener at a time. I'm excited about these guests that I have in the studio with me today. But I do want to share a little bit about who they are, what they do. They are friends to the station, especially you, Mr. President.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, Amanda.
Great morning. I'm excited about what you all are sharing with our listening audience. And but do you mind if I tell a little bit about the organization first?
No, sure. Go ahead.
Great. This organization is dedicated to enhancing educational and economic opportunities for our black boys and young black men in grades 6 to 12 through mentorship and community service. Their mission is to empower and uplift young black men by providing them with the support, guidance, and resources they need to succeed academically, professionally, and personally. Through their mentorship programs, they aim to inspire and motivate young men to reach their full potential. Their mentors, who are prominent community members, serve as positive role models and provide guidance in areas such as education, career development, and personal growth. I have here with us in the studio at Amazing 102.5 FM the president of the 100 Black Men of Houston, Mr. Darnell Joseph. He is consistent, committed, and powerful. Great morning.
Great morning. Great morning. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. You didn't come alone. You've got someone here sitting next to you because you guys are talking about an upcoming event. It's a Get Out the Vote that's happening on October 8th. This person sitting next to you, he is committed. He's what is this word you gave me here? Conscious and caring. You know, I wrote it down. I just couldn't read what I wrote. He is Dr. Muhammad, and he is a panelist for your upcoming event. And again, to both of you, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so you all are always doing some great things in the city, Mr. Joseph. Tell me a little bit about this Get Out the Vote and why you have Dr. Muhammad here sharing, as he will be, as a panelist on October 8th.
Thank you. First, thank you again. And thank you to your listening audience for allowing us to come into their homes and their cars. But on Tuesday, October 8th at 6 p.m. at the Community Collective, that's the past Power Center, formerly known as the Power Center, we're going to have a GOTV, Get Out the Vote. And the objective is to really have some real conversation about black male vote and our finances, right, and bringing the community together. So, as you've stated, and we see here, one of my oldest friends, Dr. Muhammad is with us, Southwest Regional Student Minister for Nation of Islam. Rep. Ron Reynolds will be one of the panelists. Christian Menifee will be one of the panelists. County attorneys, Harris County, Isaiah Martin, and Dr. Wes Bellamy from 100 Black Men of America. So it's 100 Black Men of America, as well as 100 Black Men of Houston coming together, along with Dr. Muhammad and Nation of Islam, to really have some serious conversations. And that's a powerful statement in itself right there. And I want to make sure, I want to stop right there and put a pin there, because when you say that, and you say those types of levels of organizations coming together to partner and talk about our vote and bringing the community together, that in itself makes a statement.
Dr. Abdul Halim, tell me why this is important for you all to join in the way that you are for this Get Out the Vote happening at the Community Collective.
Because the title of this program, Sister Amanda, is Real Men Vote. But real men, in order for real men to vote, real men need real answers to real questions. And what we have to do is we can't guilt trip our brothers into voting. Our people died for the right to vote. Our people died for a lot of reasons other than just voting. So what we have to do is we have to make them understand that, in one sense, politics is not the panacea by which all of our problems will be solved, but it is a very important part. But without an unapologetically black agenda, you won't get Ray Ray and Pookie and them to come register and come and vote, because they don't see their own enlightened self-interest in it. So what we have to do is we have to come down from the mountaintop, break it down, bring it down into the valley, break it down almost like you would make puree, so that our brothers will be able to understand, here is where you fit into this. And because 100 Black Men is a 501c3, we're not endorsing any particular candidate or any particular party. But the two major candidates made some very interesting statements. In one case, one said, I have to earn the black men's vote. And the other one is saying, black men, what do you have to lose? Well, one party had us because they were the party of Lincoln that so-called emancipated us. They had us up until the late 50s, early 60s. So how did they lose our support? And the other party gained our support because of the passage of the Civil Rights Act, Voters' Rights Act, Fair Housing Act, and they've had our vote since the mid-60s in particular. So why do you have to earn our vote? So right now, we have to formulate an agenda. Unlike any other community, if you look at the unions, if the unions endorse you, if the Fraternal Order of Police endorse you, you've sat down, you've had a meeting with them, they've laid their agenda before you, and you have responded to that agenda, and they dismiss you, and they say yay or nay, we'll raise money for you, we're going to get out the vote for you. We're the only people that seem to not have a specific 10-point or 5-point agenda that we agree upon, a synthesis of ideas from left, right, front, back, rich, poor, up and down the socioeconomic ladder, to be able to say to them, here's our agenda. How do you respond to it? And then dismiss them from the room like Orange Juice Jones would do. You dismissed, and then invite them back in once we have come to a consensus whether we'll support them or not support them. And I think that this is very important for us to change the dynamic of it, because as my teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, says, politics without economics is symbol without substance. As you heard Brother Darnell say, it's about votes, but it's also about the politics of it. And I'll close with this point, sister, is that at the founding of this nation in 1787, 75 white male property owners were invited to a constitutional convention. They thought they were coming to fix the Articles of Confederation, which weren't working after the Revolutionary War. 55 of them showed up, 43 of them stayed, but 39 stayed and signed the document called the Constitution of the United States. We weren't in the room, and two of the major compromises that were made on our backs that kept this thing together. People who are against slavery actually went along with it just to create this union. And it took us many, many years. It took a civil war, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment for us to be able to be freed, to be citizens, and to have the right to vote. And we've been fighting ever since for all of our civil human rights. At this particular point in time, with not being controlled by ABC, CBS, NBC, but having access through our telephones to all kind of information, the question is now, based upon the information we're being fed, what is our enlightened self-interest? And that's something that we have to talk about. And we will not be separated from our sisters who saved one party. It said that last election they saved one party. It looks like they're going to save it again because they jumped out there. And we won't be separated from the classes, from the masses. So they've invited me to be a part of the program because I do have a doctorate, but they know one thing about me is I'm like a Renaissance man. I can walk in the streets, but I can hang with the brothers in the suites.
Okay. So, Darnell, and thank you, Dr. Muhammad, for sharing that with us today. Darnell, you mentioned a lot of heavy-hitter names that will be in attendance at this event. I got a couple of things in mind. And Dr. Muhammad, Pookie and him and Ray Ray and all of them, right? Here's my thoughts. Sometimes it seems like these events that we have, we're singing to the choir. Everyone wants to say, you know, how do we want people to come, we want people to be in attendance. Those names you mentioned, Darnell, it could be intimidating.
So,
you know?
let's go there.
Please.
Let's go there. So the bigger picture objective of this is to come away with some solutions to help those men and groups that are in the room to go out to Pookie and Ray Ray and get them where they are, right? And have those conversations and bring them back. You know, it's time, and it's the first invite. This is the first of many. This is just
to who?
Say it again.
To who? To invite to who? The invite to
the community.
Community.
Right. Mm-hmm. To that brother and sister that is out there that doesn't usually vote. Mm-hmm. Right. This is just the first step. Okay. They're going to have some real conversation. It's not going to be one of those talk at you. It's talk with you. Okay. Is to hear their conversations, ask questions. We won't be telling you who to vote for, but we're going to say go vote. Now, you know, and we're going to say go vote for your best interest, right? And understand what that means, but also to start having the financial conversation. One of the conversations we had the other day is that our money stays in our community 60 minutes, right? Other communities is 30 days. Okay? Other communities is 10 days. Now, back in the day before we became all integrated, and it used to stay 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, stayed in our community, period. But we've got to understand and have those conversations again, right? And then make sure that we're supporting each other and supporting and pulling together our vote and pulling together our finances. And this is the conversations that we're going to have.
I'm glad that we're having it here at Amazing. Dr. Muhammad, it looks like you want to add to what Darnell just said about the length of time that money circulates in the black community, within the black community.
Absolutely. Again, I go back to the founding of this country, and everything about it really is about protecting property. The Europeans that found this nation were people, they weren't necessarily the nobility of Europe. They came here and they found this wide open land that wasn't really wide open because the Native Americans were here, but they saw this wide open opportunity. And their first argument with their British colonial king and whatnot in the parliament was, what are you taxing us for? What are you taking from us? You're not treating us fairly according to your own law. So they decided to fight their own cousins and break away and formulate their own reality. We at that time, unfortunately, were property and labor. And so now what we have to understand is we have to understand the difference between capitalism and cannibalism.
Tell us the difference.
The difference is that capitalism is that you make an investment, you look for a return on that investment, right? Cannibalism is that I'm going to gobble up and eat up everything and unfortunately even bite off my own leg to make a profit. You know, so we have to learn how to pool our resources once again, how to support one another, and how to have the patience with one another to come to Amazing, to support Amazing, to be a sponsor for Amazing and other efforts. And if, say, for instance, you can't fit me in, I desperately needed to come on Sister Amanda's show, but you couldn't fit me in this week. Am I going to throw up my hands? I'm through with them. Them people down there ain't no good. That's how we do each other. Yet we'll go to some major fast food place. They'll mess up my fries. They'll burn my hamburger. The cheese will be half melted, and I'm going to keep going back. Well, at a certain point in time, we've got to understand that, you know, the Jesus of the scriptures said these words. He said, love thy neighbor as thyself. Well, that means that neighborly love is predicated on self-love. And if we don't love self, we have no reason to love or our neighbor to trust us to love them. So we got to put some self-love in our own community, some forgiveness, some atonement. And that was the spirit of the Million Man March in 1995. It was a day of holy day of atonement, reconciliation, responsibility, not to go to the government to beg them for a program or a job. It really was about us coming together and to atone as men, as husbands, as fathers, as brothers, for what we haven't done for our women, for our wives, for our daughters, for our sisters, for our mothers, and for the society and for one another. And this is the 29th anniversary. So I'm happy to be with 100 black men, working with my good we've known each other for about 30 years, Brother Darnell and myself, and to work together so that we can formulate this, because again, as he said, this isn't the last, this isn't a one-off. We're going to do what we've got to do at this particular thing. We're going to urge the men to vote their own enlightened self-interest, whatever they decide, whatever party candidate they decide is their own enlightened. But then we're going to formulate this black agenda, this unapologetically black agenda, so that we can go forward together and say to those who we put in office, regardless of their creed, class, or their color, that we're going to hold you accountable. You came to us 2 years. You came to us 4 years. We gave you our vote. Now, what are you going to do? And even if we didn't vote for them, whoever represents us represents all of us, or should. And at that particular point, we'll have an enlightened self-interest, and we'll know what to do going forward.
Do you think that black people are afraid of the black agenda? First, tell us what the black agenda is. Do you think people are afraid of it? And if they are, why?
Well, I think some are afraid of it because many of us are beneficiaries of integration, but the masses of our people have not. If you look at the masses of our people and you look at from 65 on, not that we haven't made progress, not that we didn't have a black president, not that we don't have black people at the highest levels of corporate America, but let's look at the average person on the street and why they're frustrated right now. Let's look at our educational system. Let's look at the healthcare disparities. Let's look at the wealth gap. Let's look at the what they said, the homicide rate among us. I won't use that term black on black crime because there's white on white crime. I mean, white people kill white people. So the bottom line is that we're on the bottom of all the good statistics, and we're on the top of all of the bad ones. I'll make this point. 50% of the people who passed from COVID, according to the Houston Health Department, had diabetes. And a large percentage of them were black people. We suffer from all kind of health disparities, lack of insurance, whatever you name. And I've toured every level of federal prison system preaching, from Lewisburg down to Club Fed. There are only two types of prisons I haven't gone to on the federal level. That's Leavenworth, the military prison, or the Supermax in Colorado. And I've seen our brothers, some of the most brilliant men you ever want to meet. And if we, instead of they moving crack cocaine or moving large weights of marijuana, had been given a franchise to sell sneakers, them brilliant brothers they'd be the sneaker king right now instead of doing life terms in the federal prison. So I'm saying to us at a certain point in time, we're disproportionately policed, disproportionately arrested, disproportionately and harshly convicted. And these are the things that Ray, Pookie, and Junebug and them want to talk about. Okay, what's in it for me? Now that I've done my time, I'm off of paper, I can vote. What's in it for me? There's still places I can't live in. There's still jobs I can't hold. So this is the importance of coming out on October the 8th at the former Power Center to join with the 100 black men so that we can have this good conversation among ourselves. It's going to be real talk for real men with real questions to give them real answers so we can make real progress.
Will there be real resources? Because Pookie and them still going to need a job after y'all have this discussion. And even though that is not your job to give them one. But those are just roots.
So let's talk big picture.
We can, and I wish we had more time.
Oh.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I wish we had more time.
Oh, Amanda, I'm so
we
sorry.
could do this all day. Well, at least I could, but we can't. People have an opportunity to join the Get Out the Vote event that you have on October 8th. It's happening at the Community Collective, which is the old Power Center. And I want you guys to tell them one more time how they can register, how they can be a part of it, how they can join in on this.
They can do a couple of things. One, they can go to 100 Black Men of Houston's website and look at and pick up our event, because we've got a couple of events coming up besides October 8th. We've been here for 30 years, so we have our brunch that's coming up, and they can buy tickets and register for that on 100blackmenhou.org. And then October 8th, it's open to the community in public, and that's the big picture for us to really start having these real conversations, and we've got to realize who we are, whose we are, and decide how we're going to go forward as a community, and that's number one. So we invite the sisters to tell the brothers, and we invite the sisters to come to this and have some real conversation.
They say behind every powerful black man or powerful man is a strong black woman.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Strong woman, strong black woman.
Strong woman.
That's right. James Brown said, "This is a man's world, but it'd be nothing without a woman
Come
or a
on,
girl."
somebody.
Come on, James. That's the book of James. Brown, that is.
Critical conversations on issues shaping the black male vote, Tuesday on October 8th at 6 p.m. at the Community Collective, which is located at 12401 South Post Oak Road. It's free and open to the public. You all have an opportunity to attend. Just show up if you can. Show up and hear what Dr. Abdul Halim Muhammad has to say, what President of 100 Black Men Houston, Darnell Joseph, have to say. I really appreciate both of you for taking time and connecting with us today here at Amazing 102.5 FM. We want to wrap this up, and we'd like to leave fans, followers, listeners, and supporters with something inspiring, something empowering, something they could take with them the rest of the day, the rest of the week, and all the way up to the weekend. We start with you, Darnell Joseph. What do you want to leave us with today?
Be authentic. Get into your own lane. Understand who you are, and let's move in one direction.
How do we find you?
100blackmenhou.org.
Dr. Abdul Halim Muhammad, what do you want to leave us with today?
Do for self or suffer the consequences. And you can follow me on Twitter or X as it's called now. I am at Dots Connector. I am the Dots Connector.
And guys, I want to leave y'all with the same thing I always leave you with. Be the change you want to see, and if not you, who? If not now, when? This is the Amanda Sapp Morning Show, an amazing 102.5 FM. Your do good through good station where we're changing lives one listener at a time. Until next time, we're out.